Hi, my name's Chris and I'm a children and young people's wellbeing practitioner. The purpose of this webinar is to offer you the basic understanding of what anxiety is and what we can do about it. By the end of this webinar, you'll be equipped with the basic skills to more effectively manage your anxiety, or at least to be able to understand what it is that you're going through and the right steps in order to relieve yourself of these difficulties. If you feel as though you're impacted by the contents of this webinar, feel free to skip through to the end and contact one of the services which we have highlighted. We often hear people use the term anxiety at school or at home or amongst your friends, but what is anxiety? Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Is it a bodily sensation? Well, it can be all of the above. Sometimes we may have thoughts that run through our heads, such as, why is it always me? What if people don't like me? What if I'm not good enough? I don't want to go outside in case something happens. Something bad could happen. Sometimes it isn't a thought, rather it's a feeling. Have a think about the following feelings: scared, upset, angry, irritable, ashamed, embarrassed, distracted. Perhaps what you notice is one or more of the following bodily sensations in a certain situation, such as feeling sick, getting butterflies, feeling sweaty, feeling hot or cold, changes in breathing, headaches, shaking, or an increased heart rate. Now what we're going to do is watch a short video.
You know that scared or nervous feeling you get when you have to do something you're not sure you can do? Or go somewhere you've never been before? That feeling is called anxiety. And it can feel a bit different for each person, but it usually doesn't feel very nice. Maybe your palms get sweaty, or your body tenses up, or maybe you get a tummy ache. Maybe you've heard of anxiety, or maybe you haven't, but you've definitely felt it before. Because everyone feels it sometimes. It's normal. You want to know something really weird about anxiety? It's actually trying to help you. It's true. All those uncomfortable feelings, those happen because your brain thinks you're in danger, and it wants to protect you. When our muscles tense up and we sweat, it gets us ready to do a lot of exercise, which is helpful if you need to jump out of the way of a runaway train or wrestle a wolverine. Sometimes our minds go blank and we feel like we can't move or talk. That would be great if we needed to hide. Instead, we just feel stuck. When your brain does this, it's called fight, flight, or freeze. The problem is, sometimes your brain gets confused and it can't tell the difference between a charging moose and, say, going to a new school. Both things can be scary and cause anxiety. But there aren't any dangerous wild animals at a new school. Hopefully. Understanding where anxiety comes from is the first step in learning to deal with it. So the next time you're in one of those tough situations and you start to feel those feelings, like butterflies in your stomach or sweaty palms, or it gets hard to talk or move, remember, there's nothing wrong with your body. You're just having normal feelings of anxiety, and they're actually trying to help, even if they're not very good at it sometimes.
So, what did we just learn? Let's go through a task together. Let's start off by imagining a caveman. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, before cars or phones or even electricity, our ancestors were cave people. There were also dangers for cave people, such as saber-toothed tigers, snakes, or even other cave people. So let's imagine the following scenario. Imagine a caveman. One evening he yawns and stretches after a nap in his cave. He walks outside and it's a lovely cool evening. He walks over to a big boulder just outside of his cave and as he arrives at the boulder, a saber-toothed tiger walks right out in front of him. He looks at the saber-toothed tiger, the tiger looks back at him with a hungry look in his eye. Let's have a think about what physical sensations this caveman might start to feel in his body. To start, why don't we pause the webinar, see how many of the physical sensations you can think of. Okay, great. So, our caveman might start to feel a rise or fall in the temperature. Their breathing might become quick or unsteady. They may start feeling butterflies or sickness. They may start sweating. The heart rate might increase. They might start shaking. They may feel the need to go to the toilet. And the thoughts might be worrying thoughts, or they might start overthinking. What this cave person was experiencing was the fight, flight or freeze response. Each of these things could benefit a cave person, as it meant the blood could flow more effectively and race around the body, so that they could fight harder, run faster, or remain very still. The stomach might start to feel funny as the blood leaves the digestive system and goes to the muscles in their arms and legs where it's needed. There's even evidence to suggest that the rapid thoughts are helpful, as it could stop them from making silly decisions and putting themselves in danger. Each and every response that happens in this cave person's body was their body's way of keeping them safe. If these responses sound familiar, it's because they are. We experience the same feelings when we're feeling anxious, except the danger now isn't a saber-toothed tiger, it's what our brain perceives to be the danger, such as a lesson at school or taking a test. It's important to remember that these symptoms aren't dangerous or harmful. They can be unpleasant, but they won't hurt you. You may be asking yourself, am I alone in this? Let me have a look at some statistics together. 1 in 6 school-aged children has a mental health difficulty. 1 in 4 people in the UK will experience a mental health problem in any given year. In the last 3 years, the likelihood of a young person experiencing a mental health difficulty has increased by 50%. 75% of adults with a diagnosable mental health problem experience the first symptoms by the age of 24. So let's see now what that actually looks like. In a classroom of roughly 30 young people, there are likely 5 young people who may be struggling with a mental health. Mental health doesn't discriminate. You can feel anxious regardless of your background, your religion, your culture, your gender, or regardless of how much money you have in the bank. These difficulties begin at a young age at times, and there isn't always a reason or a cause for this. Although these statistics might look scary, what it also shows us is that you're not alone. Lots of young people struggle with anxiety, and although you might not always see it, other people are likely going through a very similar situation to yourself. Like we discussed a moment ago, mental health does not discriminate. It can happen to any of us. Have a read through these quotes. You may recognise a few of the names. These people are all very successful in their own areas, despite having had, or currently having, difficulties with their own mental health. Pop stars, influencers, footballers, actors, people from all walks of life. So at this point, we've acknowledged that anxiety is common, and most of us experience it at some point in our lives. But is there anything we can do about it? The answer is yes. There are skills and tools which we can learn and practice to be able to more effectively manage our anxiety. Our goal is not always to get rid of the anxiety, rather to be able to work with it and still do the things that we enjoy without the anxiety having control. Let's start things off with some breathing techniques. Breathing techniques are very effective at bringing us back into the present, particularly when our mind is getting crowded with anxious thoughts. But it also allows us to get out of our fight or flight response and calm us down to a point where we can more effectively make decisions again. To get the most out of these techniques, rather than breathing from your chest, you want to be breathing from your belly. That sounds a bit silly, but you can feel the difference. If you close your eyes and feel yourself breathing normally, you can feel your chest and shoulders rising and falling with each breath. During these techniques today, you should try and breathe from your diaphragm. So let's see if you can feel the difference. Imagine a balloon in your belly that inflates and deflates as you breathe in and out. If you struggle with any of the techniques today, it's okay. Practice, and you may have a preference for one over the other. If you have any breathing related difficulties, consult your GP if you have any concerns about any of the techniques, and if you feel uncomfortable at any point, feel free to stop. The first activity we're going to cover today is called Take 5 Breathing. Stretch out your fingers and thumb so that you have a space between all of your fingers. With your index finger, the one that you point with the other hand, place it at the bottom of your thumb. As you slowly trace around your thumb and breathe in through your nose until you reach the top of your thumb, and slowly go down the other side, breathing out through your mouth until you're at the base of the next finger. Repeat this until you get all the way to the bottom of your little finger. Whilst doing this, concentrate on your breathing. Once you finish this task, think about how you feel. Do this task as many times as you need to bring your anxiety to a point where you can manage it again. Well done, you've completed your first breathing exercise. Let's move on to an alternative one. This activity is called square breathing. Much like the previous activity, we'll be using belly breathing, but this breathing exercise is a little more structured. So, let's practice it together. Look at these instructions. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. And hold your breath for 4 seconds. Let's give it a go. I'll start us off. When I say in, we will begin breathing in. When I say hold, hold your breath. When I say out, breathe out. And when I say hold, you hold your breath and then resume breathing normally. Okay, let's begin. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Well done. Now that you understand what we're doing within the activity, let's try it again once more. So let's complete the task one more time. Remember, we'll start when I say in. 3, 2, 1. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. Remember, you can do this task alone with your eyes closed or with a family member. It's up to you as long as you're effectively managing your own breathing. Similar to breathing techniques, distraction techniques can be an effective tool in order for us to reduce symptoms of panic, worrying, and feelings of anxiety. Many of these techniques are based around the concept of bringing our mind into the present rather than worrying about the past or future. Distraction techniques can be very handy in the short term. However, if you feel as though you need longer term support, the details to access this are documented at the end of the webinar. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory distraction task is great at bringing our mind into the present. The reason for this is because it uses all of our senses. Let's go through the activity together. After each task, pause the video and resume playing once you've completed the task. Okay, let's begin. In the room that you're in, look around and name 5 things that you can see. Name 4 things that you're close enough to touch. Name 3 things that you can hear. If you can, think of 2 things that you can smell. If you can, then imagine 2 of your favourite smells. Name 1 thing that you can taste. This is a tricky one. If you can't think of anything, imagine a flavour that you love. Whilst completing this task, you are likely only thinking about the task itself, rather than the worries that you've been having or your difficulties. It's hard for us to be focusing on more than one thing at once. That's why these techniques can be really effective. sensory focus task. Much like the last task, we are going to use all of our senses once again, except this time we'll be using a singular object. With the sensory focus task, we will choose one object that's in our room and describe it in as much detail as you can. Consider what you can see. So firstly, describe exactly what you can see. Think about the colours, the light, the reflectiveness, the way the shadows fall. Then consider, what does it feel like? Think about the texture, the weight, the temperature. What does it sound like? How does it smell? If it's edible, what might it taste like? The A to Z distraction. This task is slightly different, as its goal is to simply distract you from potentially anxious thoughts. You can complete it by yourself, or do it with a family member or friend, it's up to you. The purpose is to occupy your mind. This distraction is relatively simple. Pick a subject or a topic that you enjoy, and work your way through the alphabet from A to Z with related words. For example, if you chose to do animals for your topic, A could be for ant, B for buffalo, C for cat. Continue this until you've made your way all the way to Z. If you get stuck, good. It's even more distracting if you're struggling really hard to think of a word. Mix it up, use topics that are different, or go back through the alphabet with different words. The counting distraction. Although this is the simplest one to describe, it's one of the hardest to actually do. But that's what makes this technique so effective. The way that we complete the counting distraction is by counting backwards from 1,000 in sevens. So, let's give it a go. 1,000, 993, 986, 979, and yes, it's meant to be difficult. Great work. We've covered 6 techniques in order to provide you some level of control over your anxiety. The more you use these techniques, the more effective they can become, particularly the breathing exercises. If you only try to use these techniques in a moment that you are struggling, you may find that they are not as effective compared to if you've practiced them a couple of nights per week. Remember, these are short-term remedies to anxiety. Let's move on now to discussing some relaxation techniques. Progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR. When we become stressed or anxious, our bodies can start to tense up. This is because our body is preparing itself for a dangerous situation where it may have to run or fight, as we spoke about earlier. Remember, our bodies can react this way even if there's no actual threat. Let's have a look how to complete this task. If you have any specific physical health concerns, please consult your GP regarding the use of these techniques. This is the simple 7-step version of progressive muscle relaxation, which we'll go through together. We'll go through the first 3 steps together. After that, feel free to pause the video in order to complete the task. With each exercise, we will tense the muscle as tightly as we can for 6 seconds. Then relax the muscle for 6 seconds. Once again, tighten it for 6 seconds and relax it again for 6 seconds. So let's begin. When I say go, squeeze your fists as tightly as you can, like you're trying to get the juice out of a lemon. 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well done. Now let's move on to our arms. When I say go, tense up the muscles in your arms as tightly as you can. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tighten. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic. Lots of us hold our stress within our shoulders, so let's relieve the tension from those. When I say go, push your shoulders as high as you can. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic job. Well done, guys. Now feel the areas that you've tensed and relaxed, and consider how they feel now compared to when you began the task. Are they feeling looser and more relaxed? What can you feel? If you feel as though you want to spend a longer time to complete this exercise rather than the condensed version, go right ahead. Within this version, you cover lots of muscle groups separately, which you may find more useful. We won't be going through this one now, but if you would like to, go through this exercise on your own. Feel free to pause the video here. Visualization. There are a lot of ways that we can learn to more effectively manage our anxiety, another way being visualization. Much like the previous tasks, visualization can take us away from worrying about the future or the past and bring us into the present moment. There are a number of positive outcomes to using visualization, such as increasing your self-awareness, reducing negative emotions, and even increasing your patience. Let's watch this following clip, which will talk us through a short visualization scenario.
Find a comfortable sitting or lying position and gently, slowly close your eyes. We are now going to go on an adventure to your happy place, but first I want you to clear your mind. Imagine that you have a deflated red balloon. Now, I want you to take all your thoughts from the day and fill the balloon with them. The balloon gets bigger and bigger and bigger as all your thoughts, worries, and events from the day fill the balloon until you feel like your mind is empty. Now tie your balloon off with a big, strong knot. Then let the balloon go. Watch it float up and up and up until all you can see is a tiny red dot. Now you are ready to go to your happy place. Imagine that there are 3 steps leading down to a big door. This door can be any color you want. For me, it will be a light shade of purple. How about you? What's your favorite color? Let's go down these steps together. 1, 2, and 3. Now all you have to do is say the password. It can be anything you want. Now say it out loud. magically, the door swings open. Take your first step into your happy place. What do you see? A treehouse with a floppy rope ladder? A beach with a crystal clear warm ocean? A field full of beautiful flowers? It's all up to you. Maybe there are lots of puppies or kittens in this place. I'll give you a moment to imagine it. Whatever it looks like, and whatever it has in it, know that you can always come back to this place. And all you have to do is close your eyes and say the password.
It's normal to feel anxiety. We all experience it at different points in our lives. It's when anxiety starts to impact our daily living that accessing some support might be useful. If you feel as though at this point you would like to access some further support, then it's available. Most of the following services will be available in your area. Why not have a look and consider if there are any that you feel as though fit your current needs? Kooth is a free, anonymous, confidential wellbeing service, offering counselling, information and forums for young people. Text the Young Minds Crisis Messenger for free 24/7 support across the UK if you're experiencing a mental health crisis. Childline. When you call 0800 1111, you'll get through to a counsellor. They're there to listen and support you with anything you'd like to talk about, from 7:30 AM to 3:30 AM. Samaritans. You can access confidential, emotional support at any time from Samaritans by calling 116 123. Shout. 24/7 text service, free on all major mobile networks for anyone in crisis, anytime, anywhere. It's a place to go if you're struggling to cope and you need some immediate help. Text 85258. As I mentioned at the beginning, my role is that of a children and young people's wellbeing practitioner in partnership with the School Link team in the Wigan Borough. Have a look at the list on screen and consider if any of these are difficulties which you are currently experiencing and that are currently impacting on the quality of your life. So, what can we provide? As a children and young people's wellbeing practitioner, we can provide 6 to 8 sessions whereby we would work towards a collaboratively set goal. We can teach you skills and tools for you to be able to more effectively manage your current difficulties. If you feel as though this is something that you would find useful, you or your parent or guardian can contact the school's head of year or pastoral department and ask for a referral to be made to the School Link team. The most appropriate support at the time of assessment will be offered to you. If you currently feel that your difficulties are becoming overwhelming, there is support available. If you feel as though you cannot keep yourself safe, please contact Wigan's Crisis Line on 0800 051 3253. Attend A&E or call 999. Now the rest is up to you. Thanks for listening to me today. I hope the skills and tools that have been displayed throughout this presentation have been helpful. Feel free to go back through the presentation and pause it in the areas that you feel as though you may want to go over in more detail. And well done for taking what may be the first steps towards caring for your own mental well-being. You should be